We're good. We're recording. Okay, so we are going to review types of, or not types, parts of a poem today. So we're going to look at what makes up a poem. We've done this before, just for review, because we're going to be looking at different poems on our test this week and in class and on our homework for this week. So first thing, what is poetry? Poetry is a type of writing that expresses a writer's thoughts, feelings, and ideas. Y'all know what poetry is. We have read poetry before. So it's just a different type of writing that we see. I'm going to read this poem out loud to you, and then we're going to talk about what the poet's thoughts and feelings are. So I'm going to read weather, and you're just going to follow along with your eyeballs, and then we're going to talk about what the author, what the poet is thinking and feeling in this poem. So here we go. Weather. It's rainy and wet. It's sunny and dry. There's all kinds of weather you see. It's snowy and cold. It's breezy and cool. Who will play in this weather? It's me. Jumping in puddles and flying in kites. There's so much to do outside. Building a snowman and riding a bike. The weather will help you decide. Okay, so what we're thinking about is what is the poet's thoughts and feelings. And we're going to underline what words and what lines help us understand how our poet is feeling. Raise your hand and just tell me, how do you think the poet is feeling in this poem? What are their feelings about weather? Ariel? Okay, good. So what is that line? I love that. We can all go ahead and highlight that line or underline, whichever you would rather. What does that line specifically tell us about the poet? How is he feeling? Somebody else tell me. Ariel got that line. Who will play in this weather? It's me. What does that tell us about our poet's feeling? Bailey in? He what? Okay, so he's excited about it, right? He wants to have fun. He's excited about the weather that is outside. He's going to go play in it. What else shows us that he is excited about this weather? He's excited. He plans on having fun. What other line shows us that? What other line? Kinley?
There's so much to do outside.
Good. There's so much to do outside. Shows us that he is pumped up to go outside. He's excited. There's so much to do outside. Good. Awesome. So those two lines really show us our poet's feelings and his thoughts about different types of weather. He likes it all. He likes snowy and cold. He likes jumping in puddles, flying a kite. He loves all weather. He just likes to be outside. Good. Okay. Next slide. Because when looking at poetry, you'll often see that there are many elements or parts. These are some of the elements you might see when reading different types of poetry. And you'll know these. This is just a review. Poetry is made up of lines. Okay, so a lot of times when we're answering questions on our test, we have to count like to certain lines. You just count it just like normal counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how we count our lines. Instead of paragraphs, like we have in passages, we have stanzas. Y'all told me that yesterday, so remember that. Poetry is broken into different stanzas, which are just like paragraphs, but of a poem. A lot of times, not all the time, poetry will rhyme. And there's different rhyme schemes or patterns, is what we can call them, that poetry follows. And we'll look at that. And we're going to look at all those different parts. Okay. Y'all know this, so we're not going to spend too much time on this because you'll know what a line is. But poetry, a line in poetry is words that's arranged in a row, right? It's arranged in a line. So this is line 1. This is line 2. This is line 3. This is line 4. Very simple, right? Y'all know how to count. These are the different lines of a poem. So if we counted every single line in this poem, you'll see they've labeled it. There are 12 lines of the poem. So question, if we were taking a test on this poem, Weather, and it was asking you about line 7, raise your hand. Read line 7 to me. Raising your hand. Victoria. Jumping in puddles, right? Super simple. You'll know how to count. But if they said go look at line 7, that's what you would go look at. Jumping in puddles, because it's these 7 lines that's counted out. stanzas. Again, y'all know this. It's just like a paragraph, but in a poem. So raise your hand. How many stanzas does weather have? Raising your hand. How many stanzas does weather have? Right? Count again. Be careful, you heard someone else shout that out and they weren't even right. Darwin? 4. Good. Let's label them because we had 2 people say 3. Oh, there we go. Let's find my little. This is stanza 1. This is stanza 2. This is stanza 3. And then down here, stanza 4. So there are 4 stanzas. Just those little sections, the group of lines in a poem. Just little sections. There's 4 stanzas in weather. There we go. And we got this already. We got it right. There are 4 stanzas in this poem. They've broken it up. They've labeled them for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So here is where we're going to look at rhyme. Poems can rhyme. They do not have to, but they can, and they often do. So whether it did rhyme. In our first 2 stanzas, we have it is raining and wet. It's sunny and dry. There's all kinds of weather you see. Everyone highlight the word see. All kinds of weather you see. And then we have it's snowy and cold. It's breezy and cool. Who will play in this weather is me. Raise your hand. What word rhymed with see, Jaden? Me. Good. So highlight me. Awesome. So you'll notice that in both of those stanzas, it was the last word that rhymed with each other. Okay. Let's look at the next 2 stanzas. We have jumping in puddles and flying kites. There's so much to do outside. Building a snowman and riding a bike. The weather will help you decide. I like how I already have hands up. Raise your hand. What 2 words rhyme in stanzas 3 and 4? Raelian? And in the next 2 stanzas that I just read out loud. Brian? Kite, bike. Those don't rhyme. Those both have the I sound. Those have I, kite, bike, but they don't rhyme. Yikes. We need to go back to our rhyming words, Jaden.
Outside.
Yeah, outside and D-side. So once again, highlight those. Those are the last words in the stanzas. Outside and D-side. Okay, those are our 2 rhyming words. Maybe we need a rhyming review in this class. I didn't think we would, but maybe we do. And they're going to tell us we have the answer right. Outside and D-side rhyme with each other. We're almost through. Just a quick review. This is a rhyme scheme or a rhyme pattern. Okay, so this is how poems decide what words are going to rhyme with each other in a poem. So it says a rhyming scheme is a way to describe how a poem rhymes or the rhyme pattern of a poem. Finding the rhyming scheme in a poem shows us how the author connects his or her words. We label rhyme schemes using the letters of the alphabet A, B, C, and G. And I've showed you this before, but it was a while ago, so we're going to revisit this in a little bit more detail. Okay, so it says, let's take a look at the first 2 stanzas of the poem we were looking at before. To find the rhyme scheme of a poem, you need to look at the last word of each line of the poem. So they put the last word in blue. We have wet, dry, see, cold, cool, me. Okay, we know that see and me rhyme. So what they've done is you're going to start and you're going to label each line as a letter of the alphabet. So line 1, it's A. The last word is wet. Looking at line 2, do wet and dry rhyme with each other? No. So because they don't rhyme with each other, you're going to say A and then B. Okay? Let's look. Do dry and see rhyme with each other? No. Do see and wet rhyme with each other? No. So because none of these words rhyme yet, they're all different letters. We have A, B, C. Okay, and we're going to keep going. Does cold rhyme with any of these words? No. No. Does cool rhyme with any of these words? No. No. So it's D and E. But here we are. We have me. What does me rhyme with? C. C. So So it's going to get the same letter. It's going to get C. We have A, B, C, D, E, C. These two words rhyme, so they're labeled as C. Yeah. Decline the airdrop, probably just a teacher. Just decline. So that is how we look at rhyme. We're going to do this one together, and then we're done with our poetry review. We'll actually move on to looking at actual poems. So we need to find the rhyme scheme in this poem. I'm going to read the poem first, and then together we're going to label the scheme. So we have cat. My shark as a tat cat hates getting wet. Whenever it's bath time, we each take a bet. You win some money if you get him in the tub. You'll get even more if he stays to let you scrub. Love the hands. Before we look at the scheme, we're going to go in, we're going to highlight the last word of each line. So right now, everybody go in, highlight the last word in each line. So we have wet, vet, tub, scrub. Wet, vet, tub, scrub. That's what we're looking at when we're deciding rhymes. Now, always the first line is going to get labeled A. Always. So go ahead and put an A next to line 1. First letter of the alphabet is the first line. Now we have to ask ourselves, do wet and bet rhyme with each other? Yes. So bet is also going to be labeled as what? A. We're going to put an A right here. Good. Don't got to hang it. All right. Now the next thing we're going to ask ourselves, does tub also rhyme with wet and bet? No. No. So is it going to get labeled as A? No. No. Raise your hand. What will it get labeled as? Ariel? B. Thank you, Ariel. Good. B. Because tub does not rhyme with wet and bet. Awesome. Okay. Last line. We have to ask ourselves, does scrub rhyme with any of those last words? Yeah. Bailey, yes. Yes. Which one? Tub. Good. I love that you're pumped up about this. Come on, baby. So scrub rhymes with tub. So scrub is going to get labeled as B. Wonderful. Label that. Then get out of this Nearpod. I'm going to put another Nearpod program in right now, and we're going to actually practice with 2 poems.